First fight of the night, we have the Zulu Warrior Balaji Oki versus the Problem Chris Duncan. With this fight, man, I'm leaning towards Balaji Oki winning a unanimous decision. How you feeling about this one?
Yeah, man. Balaji Oki has a lot of power, very explosive fighter. He comes forward, he comes to bang a lot of finishing potential. Chris Duncan, he has a reputation for being a very durable fighter. He goes, takes risks, he's a risk taker. But overall, his technical skills are a little lacking. He's not an elite technical fighter. He's not elite at any skill per se, but he has a lot of grit, he has a lot of heart. But I'm gonna go with Oki in this matchup. It's just too much heat he's bringing. Too much heat he's bringing. I don't think Duncan's really tough. I don't think he'll get knocked out. So I'll go Balaji Oki, 29-28 decision.
Moving on, we have Nora Canoli versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Interesting fact with this fight, these two women have fought before back in 2021, and Jacqueline Cavalcanti got the W. She got the unanimous decision. Nora's a bit older fighter. Jacqueline's 27. I'm leaning towards Jacqueline here. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to agree. I think Cavalcanti's got this in the bag. They fought in the past, as you said, and Cavalcanti won, and she's only 27 years old. She must have been around 24, 23 at the time they fought. She's only gotten better. Car- Carnole is 34, almost 35. It's not like she's gonna reach a second prime. I'm gonna have to go Cavalcanti in this matchup.
Moving on to the flyweight division, we have Daniel Barez versus Victor Altamirano. This fight, both fighters are on the older side here. Pretty even matchup. Altamirano's 2-5 in his last five, coming off a split decision L to Felipe Dos Santos. I'm leaning towards Daniel Barez in this one, man. Both older fighters here could go either way, but I'm leaning towards Daniel. What about you, man?
Yeah,
That's why I'm leaning towards him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the upset in this matchup. I'm gonna go with the slight underdog in Victor Altamirano. He's a little bit younger, 33, almost 34 years old. He throws too much volume. I'm gonna trust the volume in this matchup. I think he's just gonna throw enough volume to win the rounds.
Moving on, we have Aileen Perez versus Daria Zalesnikova. Daria's a bit unknown here. Her first fight in the UFC, she beat an undefeated fighter. She's actually a Russian, but she trains in Paris. So this is a hometown chick over here, man. Who you leaning with this one? Who you got?
Daria brings sharp technical striking and she brings a good pace. Perez has pretty good grappling. She's known to have good power as well on the feet. I'm gonna have to go with Aileen Perez. I think she has all the tools to keep her at bay on the feet with the good power and get the takedowns when it gets in close into the pocket and control her and grind her out for a decision. I'm gonna go Aileen Perez by decision in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. She's on a 3-fight win streak in the UFC. She has better wrestling. I think she could utilize that to steal some rounds, and she's fought better comps. So overall, I think she takes this one pretty easy. Moving on, we have Taylor Lapilus versus Vince Morales. This is an interesting fight, man. Taylor Lapilus is tough. He's also, he's fighting at home. He has solid takedown defense. Dude has a crazy long arms. Who you got in this one, man?
2-1. Taylor Lapilus is a very sharp kickboxer coming into this matchup. He's the hometown guy. The crowd's going to be behind him. They're going to be chanting his name. They're going to tell the other guy. They're going to be booing the other fighter. The other fighter took the fight on short notice. Lapilus is known for his elite footwork and distance management. I'm seeing Lapilus is going to early on be wary of the big shots from Morales because Morales does have a lot of power and he brings a lot of pressure. Lapilus is going to avoid that early on the first 2 minutes and knock him out in the second round, I believe. It's going to be a second round knockout. He's going to make it look easy once he gets the timing down.
Yeah, man. Vince is taking this fight on short notice too. It's usually a bad recipe. Moving on, we have Umar Sy versus Da Woon Jung. Umar Sy is the hometown guy over here, undefeated. Heavy favorite in this one too. And it kind of seems like the UFC is setting him up here for a solid win. Who you got in this one, man?
Da Woon Jung is a pretty good striker. He has a lot of good power in the light heavyweight division. 6'4". Umar Sy is also about 6'4", 6'3" in that range. I think the UFC has him listed at 6'4". He's a good grappler. Styles make fights. When we get the grapplers versus the strikers, we know what usually tends to happen. The grapplers grind out that decision, straight up Dagestan style. I'm gonna have to go with Umar Sy in this matchup by decision.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. Da Woon Jung is on a 3-fight losing streak. His last bout, he took a L. He got submitted by Carlos Olberg, who's not really known as a submission artist. So, yeah, I think this one's pretty easy. Umar Sy by submission for me. Moving on. We have Iwan Kutelaba versus Ivan Erslan. Man, Iwan is super unpredictable for me. He goes hard from the jump, but once he gets tired, man, it starts to like backfire on him. 1-5 in his last 5. And to be honest with you, man, he hasn't really looked the same since Magomed Ankalaev did him dirty. What about
You know what I'm saying? Ivan Erslan is coming with a diverse skill set. He has a developed toolbox already. He's not like a young guy coming in. He's 32, almost 33. He can wrestle. He can strike. Kutelaba is 1-4 in his last 5. I think Erslan's coming in and he's gonna pick up an impressive victory over Kutelaba the whole in his first UFC matchup.
Yeah, a lot is unknown about this guy, but he can't be as bad as Iwan has been lately. I'm very split down the middle with this fight though, because of his unknown, not much is known about him, and Iwan needs to get this. Iwan needs to get this fight. He needs to wins this fight, or he risks getting cut from the UFC.
100%.
So I still don't see him winning, man. I got Ivan. I think he takes this fight in a unanimous decision. Moving on, we have Fares Ziam versus Matt the Steamroller Frevola. Now, Ziam is fighting at home, younger fighter here. Matt Frevola is 34. That's a bad age for a lightweight. Overall, pretty even matchup, though. Who you leaning with this fight, man?
Yeah, man, it's the odds are very close. Ziam's a slight underdog. It's nearly even money. But Fares Ziam is 27 years old. He's a young fighter. Frevola's 34, coming off a big knockout loss to Benoit Saint Denis. Benoit Saint Denis put him out with a head kick, big head kick. The reach in this matchup, 75-inch for Fares Ziam, 71-inch for Frevola. Ziam has the reach advantage, and he fights tall. He's a very tall fighter. He keeps you at range. He jabs you up. He throws kicks to the body. He's at kill cliff, so he has good coaching. I'm going to have to go with Fares Ziam in this matchup. I think he'll get a decision. I think Frevola is going to start slowing down. He's a good fighter, but I think it's his time.
Man, I'm going to disagree. Because Frevola was putting it on Saint Denis up until he got knocked out. He was putting on a good performance. And I do think he's more of a dog here. You know what these Frenchmen, what they say about these Frenchmen. You know what Sean Strickland be saying about these Frenchmen. So I just think he's more of a dog. I'm not worried about him being gun shy after getting knocked out. He's taking the right amount of time off. I'm going to go with Matt Frevola here, man. Long Island guy, I got to go with him. Moving on to the next fight, we got the hometown kid, Morgan Charrier versus Gabriel Miranda. Now, Morgan Charrier is a heavy favorite in this one, minus 650 at the time of recording this video. Dude doesn't have an impressive record, 19-10, but he is the younger fighter, 28 actually. He's fighting the older Gabriel Miranda at 34 years old. I think I'm gonna go with the heavy favorite in this one, man. He's a lot of hype behind him, former champion. What about you, man?
Yeah, man, Charrier is like you said, a lot of hype is behind him. He's only 28 years of age. When he does win, it's by stoppage. He stops dudes on the feet. He's explosive finishing power. I'm going to go Charrier by knockout in this matchup. It's hard to go against him. He's such a big favorite. It's in his hometown. I'm going Charrier all day by knockout in this matchup.
We have Kevin Jousset versus Brian Battle. This one's a pretty even fight. Kevin Jousset is the hometown guy here, but he actually trains in New Zealand out of City Kickboxing. So you already know the stand-up is going to be solid. He did lose to JDM back in 2019, and some L's just age well, so that was a pretty good one for him. Brian Battle is a beast in his own right. He's beaten pretty much everybody except for my evil twin, Renat Fakhretdinov. And I think he's overall fought tougher competition. I think Brian Battle takes this one, man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to lean towards Brian Battle. He's fought a lot of tough comp. He's an ultimate fighter winner. He knows how to dig deep, come back from behind in fights, and pull out a decision win. He has victories over Trayshawn Gore. He has a submission victory over AJ Fletcher. He has a knockout over Gabe Green. And like you said, he did lose to your evil twin, but Renat Fakhretdinov is a beast. He's a problem in the 170 division. Jousset is a good kickboxer. He's in the hometown soil, but Brian Battle has the more balanced tool set for this matchup. He's gonna grapple with him. He's gonna strike with him. I think Brian Battle is gonna grind him out to a decision. It's not gonna be pretty, but I think Brian Battle is gonna get this one done.
I agree. Moving on, we have William Gomis versus Joe Anderson Brito. Man, interesting fact. William Gomis hasn't lost a fight since 2016. Dude is undefeated in the UFC. Hometown guy. He's actually the bigger, taller dude here. But on the other side, Joe Anderson Brito is no slouch, man. He has one L in the UFC, and that was to Bill Algeo. But otherwise, he's being the likes of Diego Lopez. He's being the likes of Jack Shore. Overall, has fought tougher competition, trains out of shoot box. I'm leaning towards Brito in this one, man. Maybe I would say knockout, but I'm gonna go with unanimous decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Brito as well in this matchup. He's absolutely on fire. He's 5-0 in his last 5, all by finish. All 5 fights by way of finish. He's only 29 years old. He's in his absolute prime of primes. I got Joe Anderson Brito by finish in this matchup. He could submit him or he could knock him out. You know, Brito's well-rounded. He could find finishes on the feet. He could find finishes on the ground. Extremely well-rounded fighter. Extremely dangerous fighter. Very young. I'm looking forward to see what Brito's got for us next.
I like it. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening. Nasruddin Imavov versus Brendan Allen. Big fight in the middleweight division title picture. It's actually a pretty even matchup if you think about it. Imavov is better in the stand-up. Brendan Allen got the nod on the ground. Although Imavov is not your typical Dagestani wrestler, dude likes the stand-up game, and his stand-up is crisp. He trains with Fernand Lopez, so you know Cyril Gane, you know these guys out there. The striking is on point, but the wrestling is a big hole, which is where I would lean a little bit towards Brendan Allen. I could see that being a path to victory for him. Who you got in this one, man?
Listen, man, Brendan Allen's on a 7-fight win streak in the UFC, but he hasn't really fought anybody elite in his 7-fight run. He has wins over Jotko, he has wins over Andre Muniz, he has wins over Bruno Silva, Paul Craig, Chris Curtis. These are all, mind you, no shade. These are all good fighters, but there's not a single elite fighter on his resume right now. So that 7-fight win streak isn't as impressive of a win streak as guys like Marab when they're on their run, or Leon Edwards, or guys of that ilk. Nasruddin Imavov is a very technical fighter. Very smooth kickboxing. He fights a lot like Cyril Gane in the stand-up. They used to train together. He was the main sparring body for Cyril Gane. Imavov on the ground, he doesn't really have much to offer for Brendan Allen, but Brendan Allen, we saw his striking against Marvin Vettori in that casino, man. He threw a 5-piece, he didn't land nothing. If he can't land punches in the street, you know what I'm saying?
Man. That was a bad look.
That's a horrible look, bro. If he has 0 hands, if this fight's gonna be on the feet, Imavov's gonna piece him up. Any moment is gonna be on the feet. I think Imavov can win this decision. I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I think if Imavov is able to keep the fight standing, and he's able to not give up his back to Brendan Allen, because I know Brendan Allen gets a lot of finishes off the backpack. I think Imavov can fight his way to a decision victory. Overall, it should be a good matchup, but I think Imavov takes this. The striking dismatch. Moving on to the main event of the evening, we have the God of War Benoit Saint Denis versus Renato Money Moicano. Benoit's coming off a knockout loss to the Diamond Dustin Poirier. He took 6 months off and is coming back to headline UFC Paris in his hometown. Dude steamrolled a steamroller Matt Frivola before that. Snatched Ismail Bonfim's hype. Future top 5 lightweight here, in my opinion. Renato on the other side is riding a hot winning streak, coming off a upset victory over Jalen Turner, which was a crazy fight. Dude's a fan favorite, and everybody know Moicano wants money. Who you got in this one, man?
I'm gonna have to go with BSD in this matchup. You know I love Money Moicano. Moicano wants money. I love Moicano, man, but BSD, he just has the advantages everywhere. He got better striking. He has the better pressure. I think Moicano does have better cardio coming into this, but Benoit Saint Denis has the advantages everywhere. He has youth on his side. He got the reach on his side. He's a little bit bigger than Moicano. I'm going Benoit. I think he's going to dominate him, man. I think Moicano's tough. We've seen he's tough as nails. You can't really submit him. You can't really knock him out. I'm going to go Benoit Saint Denis by decision, but I think it's going to be very one-sided.
I'm also leaning towards BSD, but I do love Moicano, so I'm just going to point out some key paths to victory for him. He needs to be able to weather the storm early. You know, Benoit Saint Denis comes out hot, goes super
100%.
hard for the first 2 rounds, so he has to weather that storm, survive those early rounds. Because, you know, Benoit does have the strength advantage in this fight. And I think if Moicano is able to get favorable positions on the ground, I think that'll really help him in this fight. And if he's able to take this fight into the deeper rounds, into the distance, I think that'll also be huge for him. That being said, I think this is a tough matchup overall for Moicano. I think Benoit just against Dustin, I think he had staff in my opinion. Otherwise, he was ragdolling him that first round too. So I just think he's just a tougher fighter, strength advantage. I think he gets this done with the wrestling. I don't think he's going to take too many risks on the ground against Moicano. So I think Benoit probably wins this by unanimous decision. And that's Full Guard MMA. And we're out. Peace.
Peace.